$150.
For an object that if you bend it the wrong way on the joints to make the hand look like he's doing something, like swiping at an enemy, that plastic cannot hold up. It's made to pose and leave posed. And it even comes with a little heat-resistant plastic of some sort on the legs, and it says don't remove it because it'll break. Why? There's nothing on there, but the unit that makes them speak may be an issue, but they said the flame, the light bulb that makes it look like it has a flame, apparently can melt that articulate plastic. They give it a less than paper thin plastic material to wrap around all three of the joints, and then ask you to probably not take those down. But I'll share my experience of why I think this is kind of bad. Given the Funko company made a FNAF line for all the games, posable characters. You posed FNAF animatronics. They're not really big, and they were used in the game as well. And surprisingly, they were a reference to the game's toys merchandise. And what I don't want to tell you that specifically I bought 2. I quit trying to get them after that because at the time I was addicted to going to another sneaky company called GameStop, where they buy for small and sell for high. So no matter what your game, no matter how much it was, will always go for almost free of charge when you're selling it to them. You might as well be giving it to them for free, which they'll turn around and sell it for the highest they can legally do so, or even then, borderline legal without getting sued, meaning they could sell they could buy your Dark Souls game for like 50 cents and sell it for $200, and someone somewhere will come and purchase that game for $200, and they just sold it to you and didn't lose any money for 50 cents. They've been known to do that. It's stupid. They do it especially with Nintendo products.
Right.
I bought a Pokemon Hard Gold game from them for the Nintendo DS for $78. They're around $30, $40 from Walmart, brand new, and even less sometimes when you buy them off of places like Amazon. But they sold it for $78. By the time the Funko things come out, they're articulated plastic. The Golden Freddy model I have, which is, it's got like a ball joint neck, and the balls are on both sides of the neck. There's a socket around the body and a socket in the head. Those are not a problem because they're solid. Let's go take a focus on the knees and the elbows. The elbow that had the microphone in came apart right out of the box. It's basically got a saw hole. A pin goes in it that has the joint, the cup joint for the ball elbow. That little piece, the hole that has the pin, was just lightly glued down. So out of the box, it got caught, and I just lightly pulled a little bit stronger than I already was, and it came loose for like $20, $30. For a broken, the cup also broke within like 2 days of just sitting on the thing. It fell over, had it on position, like in pose for like it was doing some kind of performance thing, because what they're made to do is be looked at. And my daughter bumped the dresser that it was sitting on, and the robot just fell over. The leg was destroyed, just sitting there, broke itself. I don't know how it did, because again, I had to glue that piece back in, but the elbow and one of the leg joints were practically broken. There was a very large, I call them weather splits. These are certain toys that have ball socket joints with the thinnest they can get without being broken in production. Weather splits usually are the fluctuation of if you have it in a case or not can affect it, or if you have it above a vent. We had a vent in that spot was broken. The cup for the balls to go in was split. You might as well took a tiny Ecto knife and sliced it. That's why I feel like Rifle was again, he was given the product to you. You give us a flawless review, and we do something for you. In this case, they paid him, and his reward was to keep the robot thing that he received. It's just sad because I know exactly what that's doing. and some people might disagree with me, but I understand marketing very well. I hang around with William. $4.8 million a day, sometimes even as a privately owned company. He knows his marketing very well. He went to college 4 times for it on purpose. And what does he say about using YouTube? Don't do it. He even made a point to mention, I called him while you were gone, and he refused to be recorded. He doesn't like that stuff. But he said to tell Bromby that when you take a company like Bethesda or a bigger company such as Microsoft, you pick a YouTuber that's doing something with that product or something on that product, such as Microsoft's Xbox, playing Fallout 76. You get someone like Todd, who's been known. William even mentions the times where he's known Todd at a younger age lying about shit. William's older than Todd, but remembers some key moments in Todd's career and lifespan where lying was the easiest thing he could ever do, aside of if murder was a thing he could lie his way out of it. In other words, he says Todd, from a marketing perspective, is exploiting one law, one legal action to let a YouTuber run his marketplace outside of ad revenue. Therefore, he didn't have to pay Rifle anything. He just had to have Rifle do it. That's what those are basically, outside of ad revenue. And in order to keep and not get in trouble or whatever, he puts the YouTuber in a weird passive-aggressive position to, you say our product is good, and we won't do a list of these things here. And it could be any one of those list items. What does Rifle do? Make a quote-unquote honest opinion on this product. And from what, like I said, I watched it twice. I didn't see anything that says, my only fear was, or I only wish that this, for that price, was that I could say, like I said, we're leaving the link and we're talking about it.
Right.
I just personally believe that he used, and I'm saying he did, this part is a definite fact. We're giving you the locations of these places, like the FDA.gov.
Right.
Talks about product placement in YouTube videos from a company for the sake of ads. In a way, it's like talking about like not having like the Tostitos ad in a video game channel, which would be a thing that you would kind of expect to see. But even worse, this is outside of that pool. So they're not inclined to be paid or anything, and they don't have to give that dude jack shit. What they'll do is they'll take their merchandise from their company, in this case Todd and the robot, usually have a high price margin, so you could have gotten the Century Bot. You could have got a Pit-Boy limited edition that wasn't even released to the public yet. Besides, that was completely separate and rare compared to the one that was being sold at the game's release. It could be worth hundreds of dollars more. It could be worth $600, for example. They could send it a Rifle for free because of this type of outside the secondary puddle of ad revenue. The only thing Rifle has to do is talk about it, make it public. And what Todd's goal is to do in these scenarios, as William has stated, is to target the ones who are stupid enough to grab their parents' debit card and purchase it blindly. William does say the word stupid, and I apologize that he finds children stupid because they don't know. He thought he used the actual term of idiot, stupid, and dumb. All of them have an actual, he uses them correctly, stupid as, and they don't know that that's going to, they're stupid because they weren't taught that, hey, if you do that, it's going to not benefit you down the road. That's what he means by stupid. And he's talking about children that are under the age to play the game in the first place. 16 and under are more likely to watch Rifle and say, oh my gosh, my hero just got a $110 or $150 toy. I want that, Mom. I want that, Mom. Please, 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 please. And the mom says yes and does it, or the mom says no and they steal it to get something that their idol on YouTube got for free. Because Rifle got it, it has to be good. Rifle's recently done Twitch now. He's out of Twitch, out of doing YouTube shit, and his YouTube videos are usually wherever he Twitch streams. He's letting the community dictate his content. And again, because of that one odd object, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's, from a marketing's perspective, he screwed his career up. Very. Looking like a damn four-legged Oreo.
I wanted to mention that you.
Oh, sorry about that.
I don't like walking, Mom.
I turned the microphone off whenever I heard that. But I wanted to thank you.
Right.
I wanted to thank you. You did a really good job finding all of this. I wanted to read this off. The Federal Trade Commission makes a specific statement on this. What is the legal basis of these basis for these guidelines? The FTC conducts investigations and brings cases involving endorsements made on behalf of an advertiser under Section 5 of the FTC Act, which generally prohibits deceptive advertising. The guides are intended to give insight of what the FTC thinks about various marketing activities involving endorsements and how Section 5 might apply to those activities. The guides themselves don't have a force of law. However, practices inconsistent with the guides may result in law enforcement actions alleging violations of the FTC Act. Law enforcement actions can result in orders requiring defendants in the case to give up money they have received from the violations and to abide by various requirements in the future. Despite inaccurate news reports, there are no fines for violations of the FTC Act.
Which means that, in a way, they can't fine you for doing it, but in a way, that's set up to keep Todd from doing that. Giving a YouTuber a toy or a thing of a really high value for free and saying, if you'll go ahead and make a video saying it's basically 5 stars, even if it's not.
Right. When he mentioned himself that they put it on the label that this stuff that is not for 14 and under, which he mentioned was because it could easily break, like someone who is actively playing with it could break it. So,
right, but someone's going to do that, and Todd will exploit this to children around those ages. Just because Rifle gives them the guidance doesn't mean people will listen. Again, Rifle is like the Justin Bieber of YouTube. Oh my gosh, Justin Bieber. If Justin Bieber made a porno, someone would give it a thumbs up if it was anywhere they could. Because Justin Bieber to some people is a god. No shade. No tease filled here, guys. Just as an example, because I'm using someone that has in the past been so popular that when I was in high school, there was a girl who believed Justin Bieber was God. I mean, that was a thing. He went so popular that he became a god to some circles, like religiously. It was interesting to me to see that. I mean, she'd kill people right now. But I'm just using him as an example, because Rifle will have viewers. And I used to be kind of one of those viewers to a certain extent. Like, oh, cool, Rifle just got quote-unquote permission to break out of the game's boundaries through a glitch some guy found via Nuclear Winter in tents. You apparently go into Nuclear Winter from that spot where the tent is and use the game's ability to put you near that tent when you go into a new world. And then when you get back into Nuclear Winter, you come back to the game, you'll be beyond the game's boundary and you can walk around as you please. He supposedly have permission to do that. And that's why I think whenever our next videos will be covering us YouTubers, they'll actively do so, actively disrupt the games, and actively break rules, and either claim or prove that they had permission, or just do it and don't give a fuck, and then somehow don't get in trouble. I would like that to be our next video. specifically people such as Kev Dewitt.
Right, and Kev Dewitt is our
I
next,
would
our
like to
next,
do that one next.
subject.
This
But-
whole not having legal procedures that I'm aware of, that I'm not gonna bother my lawyer. Hey, you know that next YouTuber I was talking about? Yeah, what about him? Well, can you find me legal procedures and ways we can have him arrested for promoting suicide from cyberbullying? I'm not gonna do that to my lawyer. And Kev Dewitt seems happy giving people Nuka Shine, completely aware that what it will do.
Right, and that will be
That's another
against
video
Bethesda's
for another
own
time.
rules. We'll mention those. But I wanted to talk about
Right.
Todd for a second. Todd, and the worst thing is, this isn't just Todd. It's the whole fucking team at Bethesda. I believe. But they they want this, because they send this stuff knowing that it's $150 that he literally got for free. So of course, because they did that, he's gonna give a good review, and that's going to sway the opinions of the community. That's this whole video is about.
There's the deceitful swaying of the community to
Yeah.
believe lies to be truth. To further exploit the factual evidence is trumped by popular opinion thing.
And also wanted to mention, yeah, the ESRB thing kind of does go against the First Amendment, but kids shouldn't be playing that stuff anyway. That racks their brains.
Well, that's, again, you gotta see which state ruled it out.
Right.
Out of the several states listed there, only 2 of them during the court cases, 2 states, said that was the case. Again, as a concerned parent, you would probably say, you're not old enough to play that. I mean, I have an aunt that does that with her kids. He couldn't play Fortnite for like a little bit because he was too young. And then when Rainbow Six came out, you know, she's one of those parents that, let me see your phone. I gotta put the password in to do it. Let you have that. She's one of those parents. Helicopter moms usually are no good until it gets down to protecting their kid, and then you realize, oh damn, your mom's right up your ass because of something that could potentially screw your life up. Rainbow Six is made up of, is based a cartoonish warfare game based off of a real group of soldiers. Rainbow Six was a thing, Rabbi.
Yeah.
Call of Duty was also based off of something else that was related to a book, but not specifically Call of Duty. It was mainly based off of Brothers in Arms and those serving. And Call of Duty kind of just put it into a gameplay perspective. World War II hit off as quick as it did because, again, Brothers in Arms, one specific point in history that resulted in a big breakthrough and lots of loss of life. Of course that's going to become a video game. I mean, if it isn't, it's going to become a movie, right?
Right.
I know that's already been happened before. Hacksaw Ridge was a good one as well. There's things that happen in those games that really did happen.
But I mean, I do understand that the wars were a bad thing, but documenting them in the form of video games, I wouldn't say is necessarily a bad thing. It's a bad thing for kids.
I don't know. Rainbow Six it's very bad for kids. That's why I don't like it. But again, war is war, Bromby. There's kids nowadays that are used as bombs.
Right,
so.
but those two can understand, you know, the importance of lost life, and can understand that. I think it's a good experience for those who kind of feel like they should know how it feels to know, and some things don't portray that properly. But those
right. But again, some of that stuff requires permission too.
Right.
I want to mention that as COD a couple times. You have out of thousands and thousands and thousands of lives lost on Normandy Beach. None of the NPCs were named after any person. I did mention a rumor that somewhere on Normandy Beach there is usually like 2 NPCs to save per level of the Call of Duty World War II. And I did hear a rumor, just a rumor, no proof so far, that there's a third on Normandy Beach. If you save him, he goes on and he somewhat completes some more of the mission, being saved more than once, named Private Ryan. Have I seen this character? No. Am I going to go check the game file to see if that's true? No. It's just a possibility because he was in a World War II thing.
Right.
Saving Private Ryan. So it's just a thing that people might just jump out and say because of the time zone. I mean, there's a lot of things that are not going to be in the game brought by as well, because World War II was pretty massive. You figure the time of life.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking huge.
The Titanic sisters becoming a medical ship, and people like women of the asylums would become combat nurses and turn their asylums into wards for injured soldiers. I mean, the world kind of shifted its attention to war when shit hit the fan. So there's a lot of things, of course, you can't throw in the game, like names, locations. I would imagine a lot of people would say it would be a turnoff to see your character laying in the bed with a nurse in a psychiatric ward, and now all of a sudden, for some reason, you got to fight your way out the ward. I would have enjoyed it for the sake of gameplay and history.
Right.
But you know me. Active duty naval captain of a submarine in a very large United States submarine fleet, and one active tour at the time of pre-COVID in Iraq. So, that's not counting all the other shit before that, because again, some soldiers are still stuck over in that side of the world, and they're not getting to come home because of COVID.
Right.
So, I count myself lucky, and I'm pushing on for them. But again, I just kind of feel like Rifle may have put himself in a situation that broke the integrity of YouTuber bridge gap for game creator, not for game creator and community of the game. I feel like Todd knows that someone somewhere as a child would say, gosh, if Todd gave him that game, and I value Rifle as an idol, maybe a small demigod, if some people want to be honest here. But then again, would your favorite YouTuber is all of a sudden up in the sun on his own without any community help, community being the viewers, to make a Vendor Vigilantes video with the exploit at the back of the box saying that you can nuke your friends? I wanted to get into that. And if you want to make that into a separate video of itself about whether nuking in the game, because it's whether it be part of the game's procedure, is okay if it's malicious. That's kind of what I wanted to go into.
I think we should put it here. He mentioned it. He mentioned it was on the back of the box. But here's the thing.
Right.
Nuking your friends, given consent to do so. I'm still a person to believe that a lot of this stuff should be consent-based. But I wanted to mention and give credit, while we say this, you could nuke your friends, but some of that could be to the point to where it's an act of cyberbullying or harassment or something like it's some sort of that.
Right.
People get triggered just because of vending prices or somebody just wants to fight. That's wrong. It's very wrong. While you are able to nuke your friends, that should be prohibited. But
I love my daughter, Ron.
I wanted to give some
Kate's finger and tape, and she's just like, ooh, a Band-Aid.
I wanted to give some credit to our newest one of our newest members of Warlanders, Rex. We call him Rex, but his actual tag is Shouting Rex. I'm not gonna say the whole thing.
Yeah, salute to him.
Yeah,
he's
because
one of the only people I've ever met in this entire
he saw that
game
Watoga was a shit ton of without the quest Mayor for a Day, and he's like, oh, you know what? Instead of nuking a player's base for petty reasons, I'm gonna nuke or the Queen for else. Right. I'm gonna nuke Watoga.
I've never seen anyone do that before. So, and I've been in a lot of those servers for 2 years. That was amazing to me. Yeah. I was just sitting there thinking when Morgantown was first nuked.
And not only that,
someone's ass hurt that the low levels get to tromp around Morgantown. I mean, what other reason? Then I found out the ghouls become. Again, it was kind of for that reason, but the second reason is XP. If the whites, with only the one phrase I'll never forget, a player told me, the White Springs is to legendary farming as Morgantown is to XP grinding. But it originally started because one dude with ass hurt.
The White Springs.
They called a bunch of high-level people to do it for him. it goes back to that
You
story
remember?
I mentioned before.
I bet you remember back in the day when the White Springs, when you nuked that fucker, seas of green, just glowing ones, would just flow out of the buildings. Yeah.
They would. They give you legendary. It's the only way.
But
you could get legendary at that time.
But before I get into that, I wanted to give kudos to Rex. If you're watching this,
Oh yeah.
hello. But also, everyone nukes the Queen nowadays because they're like, it's the only practical use for a nuke. You go for Wendigo Colossus, it's a shit ton better than the Queen. Or hell, you could just
and
not
you're
nuke at all. Calm the fuck
that
down.
will change as well. If Todd doesn't get piked or lose his job here soon, next few months, we might get to see the Wendigo Colossus be an event. Like some YouTubers broke a rule there, in my opinion, as well. None of them mentioned when the ones that did the ones I saw, at least, I don't remember exactly all. I didn't go through every YouTuber that did it out there, but the ones I watched didn't say when they did the Wendigo event, the one that's supposed to come out. They failed to mention in their description or the video that or even the title, that they were doing that on the PTS. So it was very sad when I got to the location that supposedly was there. When they did their video, I went to that same spot, which is Foundation, to meet a girl, talks about her dad, that leaves the mine. You find out that he's a Wendigo now or something like that. They didn't tell you that, hey, I'm in a PTS, so you can't do this yet. They just did their video. I felt very, in a way, cheated, kind of. It probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but in terms of, they didn't tell me and I didn't know. That's the first day I really got to witness. The PTS is brutal. It brings back beta memories, and then they use that and YouTubers to not fix their game. I'm going to mention that personally as well. They don't care about randos joining the PTS. You sign a petition to join the PTS or something like that. You sign something to join the PTS, and they can kick you out and ban you from the game if they don't like what you did in the PTS. But the problem here is YouTubers tend to do it to do one thing: break that rule and record. And they just didn't tell you that, hey, I was in a PTS when I did the Wendigo Colossus event that we're never going to see. Or you're not going to see the legendary stuff, because every time a YouTuber does that, Bethesda's just going to push it back and do lesser work as well. But again, that's another story for another video. I'm looking forward to getting a little down and dirty with the mindset of Kev to do it when he gets that camera in his hands.
We don't need any evidence. We don't need a shit ton of evidence for him.
And no, he speaks for himself. I mean, that just...
Right.
I'd do some pretty mean things to him if I found him.
I think we should. Since we talked about rifle,
I think it'd be funny.
I think we should get off of this in this one, and then start another one for Kev Do It. Like I said, thank you for the evidence that you've given. It was really like you said, a smoking gun. That's exactly what we needed. It's shown some of the stuff that they were doing.
Fired.
Yeah, shots have been fired. But
and FTC is going to say, "I told you so."
Hey, maybe they'll sue Bethesda.
Bag and go somewhere else.
But thank you guys, and also thank you guys for being here to talk about this. And I enjoy
the viewers that stay here to watch our videos.
Right. And thank you. On that note, thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. And from Vault Tech, from Vault Tech, and all. Thank you for. I'll see you.